I just got to a trail that I'm excited to drive down. I haven't driven down it since like midsummer last year, and this is technically just the access road to the trail. It's gonna be kind of fun driving down. It's rained a lot, so it's gonna be nice and muddy, but I'm gonna go down there. I have a camp spot I need to clean up, and then I'm gonna look around for maybe some new spots, maybe drive up a little bit further, just see what's up there. So I made it down the access road, and I'm right here right now, I believe at least. So I'm I'll see how far up I can go with the mud and my current car. I used to drive this in my two-wheel drive Ranger, and having four-wheel drive this time made it so much easier. I didn't have to, I wasn't sliding around as much once I got four-wheel drive on. I could just have traction all four wheels. It's my first time ever actually seeing cows out here. There's little baby ones. I wonder if I'm going to see the mamas. I think I got mud all over my belts. They're screaming at me now. Here they are. Here's the mama cows. Oh, this one's just chilling right next to the road. So the trail does go down eventually to being rated for 60 inches, and that might be about right here, but I don't know for sure yet. But I've driven further down than this before, so we'll see how the trail is, and then we'll decide if we want to turn back in a bit. So decided to get out because I finally was able to see what the sign said. I've been looking at it for like a year now, trying to read what it said, but it's always just been completely destroyed. But I think they came through and redid a lot of their signs. I'm definitely at the part where we're on the trail, so we're good. We're not we're like the maximum width, but we're not off the trail, so I think we're fine. But not close. We already got the complimentary pre-rinse. Now we're just getting the scrub down from all these bushes, giving us a good scrape. Okay, so this is the last turnaround point before I get to the spot that I want to go, which is all the way up around that corner of that mountain. I might just go for it. The trail's not been the worst, because it's probably half a mile to a mile to the spot if I were to walk. Oh, this might be where it gets officially narrow. So I thought I'd stop here for a second for a little tidbit. But my first time coming up here was in a much larger truck. I was driving a F250, which is, before the mirrors, it's 10 inches wider than this car. And this bush had not been trimmed at all. So I came up here in peak summer when all this was nice and green and full and filled in, and we we kissed this rock right here. It's actually interesting to see that there's a mark with the front right side of the truck, and the whole truck just kind of tipped up over. The back right wheel was off the ground, and we were hanging over this edge with like 2 inches to spare on the side without flipping. So then we ended up having to back up and barely shuffle right by this rock in order to get up to the rest of the trail. That's just a little tidbit, so I guess I gotta keep it real careful coming through here. Luckily they ended up coming through and cutting this bush last year, which definitely saved me the next time I came up through here. Almost fell. It's crazy. So wish me luck going through that section. I'm only a little nervous. All right, y'all. I flipped around so I didn't have to deal with that later. And this is the spot that I used to come camping. It's grown in quite a bit. The cows have been here. And it appears that our structure has seen better days. Little tripod's held. The twine surprisingly held. What the heck? These just regular jute twine, which somehow held up. Here's our tripods. It ended up being this guy to break, which probably should have expected. It's a thin little dude, but this is our place. Here's my little campfire. It's my first time lighting the ground on fire. We ended up having to dig out this entire circle because we put the fire out, but apparently the roots were shallow and it grew underneath, so the fire kept spreading even after it was out. Alright, so I think I'm gonna go clean some of it up and fix a little bit. Definitely not build a cabin out of it, but I might end up building a little lean-to or something. But having some summer sausage first. This stuff is very tasty. A good snack to get you through a little bit of work until it's time for lunch. Okay, so I'm probably gonna utilize the bulk of this if I end up building another shelter. I'm probably gonna go with just using the 2 tripods as my base, and then whatever one of these bigger ridge poles survives is probably gonna be my cross member. This is a good one. Might scoot it over to over here. Just don't have to move this whole pile 2 times. I'll use right here. Okay. Alright, yo, I got the two beams. Now it's time to put this ridge pole in. I'm going to use this one because it seems to be sturdier of the leftover ones. Alright. If I can hang on it, it's probably fine. I'm just gotta start leaning. All of my crap up. Alright, so I got all of my, went through my whole pile. I got all my long sticks pulled out and leaned up. This is my so far shelter. I got all these long ones I gotta cut, but then I'll end up adding them to the edges. And I'm just gonna cut them along roughly about there. And then I gotta start figuring out how I'm gonna get all the leaves to not just fall through. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all these small ones like this that are a little bit longer, and I'm gonna stack them along the back horizontally. So that way they'll give the leaves something to bite into. Okay, so I'm out of time for today. So this is the current progress. And I went ahead, I used to have a tape measure on my keys, so I measured it, and I might end up bringing out a lighter tarp that I'll use while I'm camping out here, and I'll wrap it and then I'll bury it in leaves, and then sometime later in the year I'll just come take it back down after I've camped in a few times. But that's the progress for today.